Usual mode of chaos, isn't it?
Hello, Sacha Black.
Hello, darling.
How are
How are
we?
you? Oh, you first.
I am a little sleepy, just waking up. Still dark outside. Oh, and happy to see you. I'm all bundled up. And I'm all bundled up. I'm wearing literally three sweaters on, three layers
And
of
I'm
wool.
sweating my backs off in
And a TikTok.
29-degree heat in the UK.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been hot for us. Hot
What?
enough that I'm like, I need an aircon unit in my house.
If it is 29 degrees outside, you need an air conditioning unit. Just one of
Oh, I
those little
know.
rolly ones that you put in the window and move around, you know?
I made the mistake of so there was like a government scheme where you could have extra insulation put in the house for free because it would reduce the pressure on like gas and electric or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, come and do it. Uh, mm,
Oh,
mm.
so now it
So
holds
great
all
in
that
winter.
beautiful heat.
Mm. And they were like, oh, don't worry, it'll make your house cooler in the winter. You lied. They lied.
It probably does in the morning for a little bit, and then as soon as it seeps in, you're doomed. You're doomed.
Mm.
Those heat pumps are nice because they're also air conditioners. You should just get a little wee heat pump.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get an aircon unit because I'm not coping very well.
So in California where we lived in the Bay Area, nobody really believed in air conditioning, and then the world changed, and it would get like 32, 35 in my office, and I realized that I was going to lose every banana peel that I had, and we 1 year before we moved, we got an air conditioning unit for the house. It was life changing. I was just a nicer human being who could work. Do it, do it, do it.
I think I will. I think I will. I'm going to investigate. Thing is, I have to give that task to my wife because my
Yeah,
wife has deliberative, so she will want to do the research. And I have
fabulous.
learned the hard way that she don't like it when my activator buys stuff real quick. So I will just be like, please, can you find me an aircon unit?
Yeah, and before we bought the whole house one, I just had one from my office that literally has had like a hose that's stuck in the window, and then you closed it on the
Yeah,
hose, and then
it's got to be
yeah,
done. I'm sorry, you've
yeah.
got a terrible view for listeners. Rachel's having to look at just piles of boxes and shit everywhere. So I'm sorry about
Why
that.
do
Normally
why
life
do
is
you
much
have
tidier.
piles of
I'm
boxes back there?
doing my first in-person event.
Oh, okay, so I am so far behind in podcasts. I realized I'm about 2.5 months behind in your podcast yesterday. And then I was going to listen to the most recent one to catch up. And then I thought, no, I'll just catch up with you here. So the live event is what?
It's called the British Book Bash. And it happens to be in Peterborough. So I was like, well,
Ah,
I'm gonna go because I'm in Peterborough. So I was like, well, okay, it's literally down the road. And then I realized that I don't really want to do in-person events. And now I'm committed. So I'm just terrified. Like for so many reasons. I don't really want to do it by myself. I don't think my wife wants to come with me. So I kind of have to go by myself, which makes me a bit anxious. And then I don't really want to like I'll get stressed about setting up and then I'll get stressed about unloading the boxes and then I'll get stressed when people come up to me and then I'll get stressed when I have to use the card machine and then I'll get stressed trying to pack it down and all of the rest of it. So I will just not really enjoy the event, I don't think. And then
I'm
maybe I'll
having
surprise myself and I'll
vicarious
love it.
stress just
Yeah, I know,
listening to
right?
you. Like that just sounds horrifying. I cannot tell you, and I'm not making things any better, so I apologize. But I can't tell you how many times I've done those kind of events, and then gotten a migraine while sitting there, just like because of the stress.
Yeah.
And people always say, "Oh, it's the lights, it's the noise of the people." It isn't. It's just me being an anxious kitty cat.
And it's
But
just reminded me that I had a very fantastic conversation with somebody at SPF. I just did the SPF conference and they
ah,
gave me a really good tip. And they were like, because one of the things that I don't want to do is for people to come up to me and go, oh, so why should I buy your book? And I'm like, because you fucking want to? I don't know. Like, do I look like a customer service person? Do I look like an Amazon
I
storefront?
am an author. We're the opposite of customer
Right?
service.
Like so if and I was like and so I said this to somebody who does a lot of in-person book events and she was like, don't worry, I got you. And she was like, so just create a poster that's like a tropes menu. And I was like, fuck me, that's amazing. So
Ah.
I've brought these acrylic stands. I just need to get my assistant to do the design. But basically, I'm going to have each like cut. I'll print them in color. Actually, I need to do this today. I'm going to print them in color, and then I'm going to have like tropes, main tropes, and then on the back, I'm going to have or like in a different one, I'll have like it's X meets Y on it, so
Right,
that they've
right,
got
right,
like
right.
the yeah. So that's
And
I
you'll
think
have
what
it
I'm
on
going
a,
to
you'll
do.
have it set up so they can look at it, and you'll also have one that you can hand them so that they'll
Right.
get home and do that. Because honestly, that's one of those things that I actually have done at book fairs like that. Is it's the one time when swag will actually, or bookmarks or whatever, some way of taking away the book. I will buy the thing later when I think about it, like when I'm
Yeah.
less overwhelmed. So it is nice to
Yeah.
have something to hand out. But I mean,
But
did you get the pretty books? Are you getting like,
no, well,
okay,
I've got 8 boxes of from the Kickstarter left over. So I am going to
bring,
take
yes,
eight of them, and 4 of them have the vibrator and 4 don't. So I'll charge full price for 4 and then a little bit off for the other 4.
yes.
But the amazing thing is I've got 4 readers coming from like 3 different countries, which is amazing. So one's coming from Germany, one's coming from Scotland, one's coming from Wales-ish. Um,
Can
Oh,
we
and then
just
maybe 2
stop
are coming from Scotland. So that's pretty
right now?
cool.
Like, just hold the presses. 1 year ago, when you were like ramping this up, and maybe it was like 13 months ago. I don't know when it was, but it was like I remember you saying, "I don't know if anybody's going to read this. This is just probably the worst idea I've ever had. This is never going to fly, but I really, this is what I want to do." And now you
So
have readers coming from different countries.
were we doing this before I wrote the first book, or how long
I
have we been
think
doing this?
so, because
Two
Ruby Row was
years.
very, very secret. Remember,
Fuck.
we're almost we must be at almost 2 years, because I think we're
Yeah,
up to
because we've
episode
done like
21 or
20.
so. And
Yeah. Oh my
I think
goodness
we've
me.
skipped one or two, but yeah, it's been 2 years. And you were telling nobody about Ruby. And I remember after one of our very first episodes, you said, "I'll tell you the name after when we're off air." So you had
Yeah.
started this idea, but you weren't sure it was a good idea.
Oh my God. I have just done my annual lessons learned episode. I did the
Oh,
money. I did
oh,
the money. I did.
I can't wait
And
to listen. Oh,
it was terrifying. Terrifying. But
well,
it was so good.
let's talk about it, because you were inspired to do the lessons learned and the money talked about by listening to my show, where
I
I always do it
was.
every year, and I know that it scared you spitless. So
Yeah, it
I will
did.
listen, but like, how did it go to share those numbers and to share the backstory, all of that?
It was scary. I'm nervous of judgment.
Mhm.
I'm nervous of people who haven't necessarily got the context of how many years it's taken. So I did try and put that into the episode. But I also think it's really important because I gave a lot of home truths as well. And I told people where I'd struggled even after hitting the goals. And I,
Yeah, yeah.
I gave breakdowns as well. So I said, how much I'd spent in advertising. I
Mhm.
didn't go into, super, super in-depth stats or anything, but gave broad brush figures. And the crazy thing is, so okay, we're talking about last tax year, but this calendar year, I've already beaten last tax year's income. So I think I may end up like multi-six by the end of this year, potentially, which
Shut
should be
the
amazing.
front door.
I know. Yeah, I can't really get my head around it, if I'm honest. It's a bit bonkers.
From something that when we were talking about was just a dream.
Yeah.
And And for people who are listening, you did this without a mailing list, without a base, without anyone knowing who you were. You started
Yeah.
from nothing,
February 2023, I started at 0.
and it is only June 2024 when all we're talking.
Yep. And my audiobooks have officially earned out from
Already.
Podium
When
already.
did they come out?
The first one came out in January, the second one came out in February, the third one came out in March. And I don't know the detail of the statement, but I just got an email from my agent to say I've earned out. So I don't know
Okay.
if it's all 3 or if it's 1 or what, but I know
I
that royalties are coming.
I paid out of pocket for the Darling Songbirds, because it was traditionally published in Australia and New Zealand, then I self-published it everywhere, and I hired somebody to do those. And that was probably I'm gonna say 2015. I just turned out. But I'm saying,
2015?
like, it took 10 years, almost 10 years to earn out, because they, they were And you just did that. I'm just saying this to show that you turned out in 6 months. Audiobooks are
I mean, it
not
wasn't a
cheap to
huge,
produce.
no, but it wasn't a huge advance. It was like a modest advance, but still.
I guess earning out for me means I paid for like it was like $10,000. So finally I made the $10,000 back and now I'm making money on them. But it took almost 10 years to make those $10,000 audiobooks. So well done.
Yeah, I
Well
mean, yeah,
freaking done.
thank you. Thank you. It has been like astonishing, quite frankly. I dropped into the top 1,000 again today because of the another TikTok blew. Like I can't like I don't it's just I can't it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous what's going on. I don't even know don't even know what to say to you if I'm honest. I'm just trotting along, working exactly the same as I was before. You know, just
What is the best part of all of this?
honestly, the best part is the pressure that's taken off knowing that if my car breaks and I need £400 to pay for the car, I'm gonna have £400 to pay for the car. Because like I definitely had quite a lot of months like that, especially, after I left my day job, there was a lot of time, a lot of months where I never knew if I knew I was going to pay my bills. So obviously I know that's a really privileged position to be in, that I knew I had enough money to pay my bills, but I didn't have any money if something went wrong. And then everything was always a scramble. So I think that pressure relief is probably the most beautiful gift that I think I've been given. It's a simple one, but I'm really grateful for that.
It's an enormous one. And
Yeah,
what is the hardest part, the most difficult part of what you're doing right now, what you're working through?
that having more money doesn't change your insides.
Isn't that annoying?
It's so fucking annoying. There's no more meaning. There's
You don't feel
no
more satisfied
you
or
don't
more
no
authorial or
nope,
or yeah, yeah.
none of that. And that what I actually say in the episode, that I feel a bit naive because I think I did think things would change on the inside and they didn't. And I had a big crash after sort of hitting the goal and ended up in bed, not very motivated for a couple of weeks. Um, so yeah, I do go into quite a lot of hard bits as well, which not everybody's gonna like, but I try to always be truthful, like with the good stuff and the bad stuff. So
I love that you're doing
yeah.
this. Do you do that thing that I do where I hear people, I listen to people deeply, and I take in what they're saying. And I I know that I had heard a million times that, being published or being multi-published will not change you at all. But in my head, I said, yes, I appreciate that is true for most people, but it will not be true for me. I
Yeah.
wouldn't
All
like,
the time.
uh,
All the time.
right? I am the exception. I don't
Yeah,
think
of
in my
course.
head I am the exception. Those words don't go through, but I do think things like, but for me, I understand. I'm listening. I'm deep. I'll get this.
It's things like so I always say that I learn a lesson and then I know a lesson. It's kind of like that
Ooh.
because
Mm-hmm.
there's learning something and then there's really truly knowing it in your bones. Just like I learned about writing to market, and then when I did write to market, I knew about writing to market, like I knew the consequences of writing to market. So or even things like I learned how important visibility is, right? And how much what traffic is. I learned about that, but I did not know, I did not understand, I did not comprehend the compound interest of visibility until it happened. Then I knew it. Then it changed my strategic perspective on what activities were actually important.
Mm.
So yeah, I really feel like I have to learn a thing and then I have to know a thing, and they are very different experiences for me. I just wish I could learn it the first time instead of having to relearn it multiple times. Oh dear.
I am really
But
proud of you, though. You
thank you.
you have
What
just done
about like
so much.
work stuff? Because there's a whole bunch of work stuff going on too. So tell me about your work stuff and then I'll tell you
Where
about my work stuff.
what is going on work stuff? I have since we talked, I fulfilled the Kickstarter, which was awesome and dreamy and wonderful.
You
And
fulfill. Hold on. What was is it? Was it was it this?
It
Was it
is.
this
Look at that. Look at that.
one?
Look at
So
that
for
cutie
listeners,
patootie.
I'm holding up a copy of Rachel's book, and it's so pretty. I cannot wait.
It's so cute. It's so cute. I didn't go for like fancy covers, no gold foil, anything like that. I just wanted to get it out. But I do love how they fulfilled um everywhere quickly. Like I believe that most of Europe got the books sooner than even the United States by a day or two, I noticed. People have gotten it in New Zealand already. It just wasn't slow. The shipping was not enormous. Um, I did I found the actual fulfillment using Kickstarter for the ebook and the audiobook just so cool. Just so flippin' great. My only problem is that I had to notify more than 500 people and I didn't understand that they throttled you at 500 just in case you're spam. So then I had to send them an email and say, unthrottle me. And because I hadn't put in all of the audiobooks in the first time. Anyway, but it's just so slick and seamless and so easy for us. And I love that. And even uploading all of the paperbacks and the hardcovers, it took it took time and effort and very careful eyeballs, but I have fulfilled everything except for the book plates, which I'm like, they're sitting on my desk and I address some, every once in a while. Um, and one person I do not have their address and they are not responding to emails, but everything else is done. And that felt so freaking good to do. And the exciting part is that then Lala has got the Unstuck as of yesterday up on Shopify because I asked her to do that. I didn't want it to be for sale anywhere until Kickstarter had their books, right? Because that's unfair. Like, why would you kickstart something that then you can go spend $7 on and go get on Amazon? So, or Shopify or whatever. So she put it up on my Shopify and it's up on Shopify and I haven't told anybody. I just told the podcast people about it today. Um, and that's at rachaelherronbooks.com. Uh, but here's something cool that somebody with a name I do not recognize who has never emailed me in any capacity before because I searched my email, bought the audiobook last night. So somebody had looked for Rachael Herron and had probably gone to my main website, which then shunts over to the Unstuck thing. I had told nobody but a few students, and this is not a student so I've made a sale in like an audiobook sale in the cold without telling anybody. And it felt so good. And then when I actually tell people, I've told podcast people today, and I'm going to send a newsletter out to my readers. So I'll do that. I'm going to pause. All right. Sacha had a face like there might be child drama, but there's not child drama. So
No, we're all good.
um, and then I'll send the email newsletter to my full newsletter list today. And that will what's really, and you have been experiencing this, but what's really cool is knowing that I will make money today because I'm going to push a button to tell 10,000 plus people that this book is now available on my site. It's not available anywhere else. I'm going to keep it just on my site for a while to experiment with that.
Is this your first
This is
foray into Shopify, or have
my
you got
first
stuff
foray
on
into
Shopify?
Shopify. Yeah. It's
Oh,
just,
this is going to be so exciting.
Lala has been building it for a while, but we haven't told anybody about it. Like I had said, you can go look here to see what Lala has been building. But and we're still working on tweaking things. But just to like tell somebody and then to make money into your hand, like PayPal
So,
paid me immediately. Somebody used a
yeah.
PayPal on there and I got a PayPal notification and I'm like, why did I just get $60 from somebody who bought in all formats? Like why? And this was a student who had heard about it. But what is going on?
It doesn't get old. Like every time I get a notification on my phone, I'm like literally every single time somebody purchases on Shopify, I yay over it. It
It
doesn't
is.
get old.
It's nothing like making, seeing the number of sales you've made on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or whatever. You can log in and look at that, but that's not real money. You could say, oh, I made 12 sales. I made one sale on this. And then you will see the money, the $3, 3 months later from that sale. But to just the audiobook, I don't know how to price an audiobook. I haven't even given it thought. So I arbitrarily slapped $15.99 on it. And that's just mostly money to me because it's all done. The book is produced. I'm not paying anything off. There's no earning out to do. It's just coming to me now.
You're
Ugh.
wide, aren't you?
Yeah, I will be wide once it's off of
Do you
Shopify.
use
Yeah.
Scribe Count?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because Scribe Count will suck in Shopify. It's
It
amazing. So I have
will.
every.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. And when I say I mean Ed, my assistant. I have no, I don't even know how to log into Scribe Count, but he'll just great. He'll just add it to that. Fantastic.
A little piece of me just died.
Oh wait, I look at all of his graphs that he makes, but I could not be bothered to go get numbers. No, 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 no. He makes charts, pie charts, graphs. They're gorgeous. They're things of beauty. And that's what I understand. Yeah.
Like, how often do you get them? Because I look every day,
You look every day? Well, you're making a lot more
multiple
money
times
than
a
I
day.
am.
Probably not, but
Oh, yes,
yeah, I
yes,
look every
yes,
day
ma'am.
because I really like the data and how pretty the charts are,
Oh, they
and
have nice
also
charts?
it
Okay, maybe I'll go look.
yeah, and it makes me, and also it gives you the breakdown, like what percentage are you wide, what percentage are you not wide, what format percentages are you? So I
Mm.
can see, like, depending on which TikTok's gone, I will
Mm.
see like how that marketing has affected my sales percentage by formats and stuff. But this is like I've really unleashed. Like, I don't really like numbers, but I love data. Data gives
Mm.
competition a lot of information.
Yeah.
So I really like the data on that. But yeah, I'm so excited for you for Shopify. And like I just wish I'd done it so much sooner than I had, because it is the best thing ever,
It
ever.
it really makes me feel like I'm running a business in a way that I have not felt for the
Yeah.
last, 14, wait, no, wait, 2010, 14 years of doing this.
Yeah.
It's
Because we're so
incredible.
in control.
We're
And the
so in
money is
control.
like
Yeah.
5 days later. And then the minute you get that first lot of money in, it's every single day. If you're making sales every day, it's every single day the money comes in. So like if
Wow.
yes,
That I
well, it
didn't
depends
even
on how
know
you
because I just made my first sale yesterday.
okay, so it depends. So it depends on how they've paid, and it depends on how you set up your Shopify. But basically, I think it's about every 4 or 5 days. I will no, not every 4 or 5 days. On the first, let's say I
hmm
made a sale, I would
hmm
get that money in my account, say on the fifth or the sixth, right?
Okay.
And if I made a sale on the second, I'd get it on the sixth. If I made a sale on the third, I'd get it on the seventh,
Right.
right?
So it
So
just keeps
that
rolling in.
it just keeps rolling in every single day.
What is cool is that then now I am focusing business wise on um optimizing and making beautiful and much better all of my backlists because I have a lot of backlist romance. And I signed up for, I don't know if I told you this, but I signed up for and have absolutely done almost nothing with because I've been so busy. But the Sky Warren Inez Johnson running ads to Shopify store for series. And
Hmm.
so after I optimize the firefighters and then Darling Songbirds, I'll start running ads to the Shopify store and just see what kind of ROI I can get and play around with that. So
Yeah,
that's going to
that's
be fun.
definitely that's my goal after New Zealand
Yeah.
is to try ads, because I haven't I literally I've spent like 5 grand on ads in the last year. That's it.
You
Uh,
haven't needed to because you've got the TikTok working.
Right, but what else could I do?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and also, and here's the thing, right? Trying to be like unemotional about it. If TikTok does get banned, I do need another um traffic generation source. And what I would like to do is to at least understand how to do ads before that were to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen and then it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But at least if I have done some practice beforehand, I don't have to do that learning right as the tsunami happens, because everybody will flood to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to do a little bit beforehand. So what are you so now you're fulfilled, what are you
Mhm.
working on now?
Now I am working on revising the fix, which is that recovery memoir, which has been in the back drawer for a long time. But first of all, my priorities are optimizing the firefighter series because that sells really well, and I want to start playing with ads there. So they, this is how lame I am about my backlist is that I don't even have paperbacks of the firefighters up there anywhere because I never got around to it. I just threw up the ebooks. Like these are the kind of things I'm doing. So as I'm optimizing for Shopify, I'm realizing, oh my God, I have not revisited these categories in 6 years. So I was
Are
working
you
on that.
going to do like so how many books are in the paperback in the firefighter series?
There are four in that, and in this town, there are four firefighters, three Ballard brothers, three Darling Songbirds. So that's seven. So that's 10. And I think isn't there another series? There's at least 10 to 14 books in that series. So I'm going to try to drive all to that series.
So are you going to, so do you do like four books in the, and then it's a three or whatever? Okay,
Hmm.
so are you gonna, so what, one of my best selling product is the Girl Games trilogy. So I do a bundle, all three paperbacks. They're not one book, they are the three individual paperbacks.
Mm.
But I give like a 15% discount or something on it. I'm still making a ton of profit, and it is without doubt my most popular
Interesting, because they
product.
want the paperbacks. They want all the single paperbacks, not an omnibus, but a
No,
paperback, but the
I don't
paperbacks.
do it. I haven't done an omnibus, so they yeah, or the hardback bundle. But when they bundle and buy all three, I give a little bit of a discount, and that seems to encourage. And I put the discount like visually on the graphic
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well,
That
and
makes sense.
then that helps.
Oh, see, all of these things I think are so fun, and I have been so busy with other things that I haven't had any time to play with these. So this is my focus right now, and then working on the fix, and then I'm working on writing the like three other books at a time in my little
Did you
like in the morning.
did you finish Seven Miracles? Because I know you're supposed to revise and hand it in at
Oh
some
yeah, that's
point,
done. That,
and
I've been working.
oh,
That's been done. And I got the final payment for it. So yay, I got the final payment for
yay!
that. Because that one, interestingly, um, usually they break it up into like either 3 or 4 payments. This one was only broken up into 2, which was
Hmm.
unheard of for a very, very long time. So I got paid when I signed, and I got paid when I delivered the accepted manuscript with all the revisions done. And so now I don't have to worry about that book ever again. And I might not make any more money on that ever, and I will never be able to get those rights back because they have dialed in those contracts. So I've kind of let, like Seven Miracles is in my rearview mirror, but I am thinking about the next witchy queer book, which I may keep for myself because I'm kind of feeling witchy
Well, there's a lot of
queer.
those kind of like dating a demon, like
Mm-hmm.
sort of cozy, not
Mm-hmm.
quite cozy, but cozy romanticy, not, that kind of, they are
Mm-hmm.
popular. There's quite a few covers that I can think of at the moment that are up, and some are in very high rankings. So
Ah.
that would be exciting. We can talk more about that offline if you want to talk
Okay.
about that offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Um,
business wise. Yeah. What about you?
okay, so I finished book two. I can't
Good
remember.
job. You had not
Yeah,
done
I
that the
can't.
last time we talked.
Okay, so I did all of the edits. It's been to the editor. I got the editor copy back this morning. I did all of the edits from the editor today, and I formatted, and it's gone to my first ARC person. And then if they tell me that it's okay, like they're not going to read the whole thing before I send it out. But if they tell me it's okay, I'm going to send it out to ARCs tonight. And I've written 18,000 words in book three.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the edits that you got back, those are like copy edits because if they were content edits, you would be able to do them in a day.
That it
These.
was, I have changed my process,
Oh my God, tell us about
and
the process. Break it down.
a bit nervous about talking about this. So I basically decided that I was going to write the book that I wanted. I was going to do my edits, and then it was going to go to a proofer. And that's what I've done.
That's
That's
what
it. That's it.
okay, so for Unstuck, that's what I did. I did
Okay.
not use a developmental editor. I asked my copy editor, who I trust with my life, to run basically in the background like a developmental edit and tell me, does this? I told her, you're the first person seeing this. Will you please tell me where things suck and and if it's not working? And I want to say very clearly to people listening, this is not. This is a pro move. This is when you have a lot of books out and you know that you understand story structure and character arc and you're doing these things and you're doing them in the way that you want to. And memoirs also have character arc and story structure, then you get to make these calls. So good job.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I mean, so that more or less is what happened with book one. I had somebody do a speed read,
Hmm.
and give me about four comments of things that needed changing. At which point I was like, yeah, I don't think I need to have the next one looked at. So I didn't. What I will say is, psychologically, knowing that I didn't have another person backing me up, the edit took twice as long. Now, when I say twice as long, the first book took me a week. This one took me two. So we're not talking about a long time. But in Sacha Activator World, it was forever. So I don't
You
know
are
what
not
I'm
a
gonna do.
you're not a reviser like I do. I'll spend 6 months
Fucking
happily
hate
in revision
revising.
land. I
Oh my
love
God,
it. I
no.
love
I
it. I
would
mean, that's actually
die.
an exaggeration, but a good month or two, happy, happy place, happy place. And I'll
I
do it
would
over and
die.
over again. You,
So
you would.
yeah, I would literally die. And that's why like I literally just scroll control. I mean I no, I mostly just highlight and accept the changes, and then I just deal with the comments, because here's where I'm at. Like, I am terrible with punctuation. I pay someone to be good at punctuation
Yes, that's
for
not our
me.
job.
Why would I question it? Why would I question it? I'm not going to
Mm.
question it. So I just control. I literally go through a whole chapter. I select all and I click accept, and then I read any comments that
I
need to
don't
be dealt
I don't
with.
do the whole chapter. I scroll the whole document and then I do them all at once, the whole book.
Yeah, I should do that. I
All
should
of
have done
them,
that.
40,
That would have
all
been a lot
40,000 of
quicker.
them or whatever it is. It's
Right.
really nice. It's just you just click and
Mm.
accept all and then you sort through the comments.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'll do that next time. And then the only other thing I'm doing is I have commissioned German translations. So
That's
that's exciting.
exciting. And how are you handling the intellectual property part of it?
Okay, so I'm paying a company, and the
Great.
company is paying the translator. And the way that the company works is they go through DeepL first, and then a
Yeah.
human editor does has like the original and the manuscript, and then they edit for correctness, and then they have like a beta read team, and a bunch of other stuff. That it's an extremely good
That
organization,
is
and it's
so great. We Ed and I, my assistant and I, got Fast Draft Memoir done in German. I don't remember why. We've sold like 2 copies. Oh, you know why? Because somebody offered to do exactly that for me. A reader really loved the book, and she is a translator, and we worked out the DeepL. And then she was the one who came in behind it, which is a great system to do. And the fact that
mhm.
like that's so cool. Is it very expensive?
No.
That's awesome.
It's
That's
insanely cheap. I
that's
am
great.
paying probably for all three what somebody would pay for one.
Yeah. Yeah. That and you're it's such a perfect genre for that. This is going to do so well in Germany. I don't know.
I
Whoa.
I'm excited.
Don't do a book about memoir, writing memoir. Just don't do that.
Yeah, and so I mean mostly I'm just trying to get book three done before we
Okay,
leave. It'll only be drafted.
let me ask
Um,
you because right about 20% is usually when you go, "Oh no, what's going on?"
um, so I wrote 18K, and then I've done the conference. So I've had like 2 or 3 days away from the manuscript, and I am very nervous to go back tomorrow. That said, I have not had the start of a book flow the way this has in a really long time. So
Yay.
I think it's because the way that I'm looking at this is, you know how, so we just said like the first 30% I find difficult. The middle 30% is just like you're trundling along. And the last 30% I always smash really fast in a couple of days. Well, in a way, a trilogy is thirds of one
Yes.
whole story.
So you're in
So
that part.
I'm in the last third. So I kind of think this book might just come out, because
Oh,
it's I've been intellecting on this is the finish line, right?
getting
Competition
here.
finishes hard. So I am like 5K behind, I think I'm 5K behind. So I'm gonna have to step it up a little bit, but I'm hoping that it's gonna be okay.
That's awesome. It's going to be great. And then you're going to do the draft and then come to New Zealand. And then when you get back, you will do the
Edit.
edits and then publish.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not going to publish until end of November.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Why?
because I am trying to bank books. So I took a sacrifice this year on launches in order to bank books so that I have longer lead times, because I want to do more marketing, but also because I need to slow down. And not slow down, that's the wrong word. I need the mental,
Mental
what is
space,
it?
mental.
I need to be able to give myself permission to sit down and read in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't do that unless I feel like I'm ahead of the game. And I've
Yeah.
never been ahead of the game. So I have to bank books. So yeah, that is my plan. I will be spending the last quarter of this year writing books for next year.
That
Yeah,
sounds brilliant. That
hope
sounds
so.
so smart. Where is your strategic?
3.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. It's a strategic thing, right? Yeah. So I'm hoping that yeah, that things will be a little bit easier. I'll be able to read a bit more last part of this year, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
do you want to talk about your Kickstarter and how
Do
it
you, yeah, do you
went?
want to talk about Kickstarter too? Or is
We
that just like
can
so
do.
long ago for you that
It is
um
quite a long time ago, but I did look up. So I did like sort of back of the fag packet calculations, and I took a picture of it on my whiteboard, and I dug up that picture because I thought you might want to talk about it today. So I
ah
do have, but they are back of the fag pack. So
yeah, awesome. That is a great phrase, by the way. It's Lala
it's
is
very
always
British.
whenever anybody and Kiwi, when everybody anyone says they're gonna go have a fag, Lala always just goes like, really? They just said it? That's amazing. Um, okay. It's a cigarette, people. It's a cigarette, Americans. Uh, okay. So mine is not going to be as impressive as yours because mine was a smaller Kickstarter, but I will tell you my numbers just because I find them fascinating. And I'm really pleased with how this went as my first Kickstarter. So I made $20,200 all together, US dollars. And then what I'm excited about is to know what I'm actually taking home as the payout, um, which is after Kickstarter fees, payment processing fees, books, cover design, mailing for the book plates, and taxes. Because I like to take taxes out in my mind. That's not money that belongs to me. I don't ever want to see it. I put it into a different bank account. I am bringing home 7,800 US dollars. I was hoping for about half. I was hoping for 10K US, and that did not happen. So this is really good for me to know. It is a little less, I'm stuttering, little less than half, $7,800 US, which in New Zealand money is 13,000. So that
Well, you got
feels
your 10
good.
then. You got your 10. They're just 10 New
Exactly.
Zealand.
I've
Yeah.
got my 10. And then what I do also like to do is for this one, six, I always have to do the math because I can't remember, but I wrote it with Patreon. And even at the low level Patreon, I had made at least $25,000 while writing the essays. So I haven't even done these calculations plus the 7,800. So that's a nice $33,300 brought in on that book before I made that first audiobook sale yesterday. That was
Which is,
out of nowhere. You
that's like an
know,
advance.
it's an advance, but it's so much better than an advance because an advance, if you're making a
You have
dollar a
to
book,
earn
which is about,
back.
you have to sell 33,000 of those things before you get the next dollar. For me, I don't. It's just incredible. And this is why I'm like, get that next book out of the
Yep.
chute. And I've just got so
Yep.
many books that are, I'm always complaining about this, but that are coming into land. And they're piling up behind me because I'm continuing to write and I'll just keep continuing to publish. And I will let my agent have the recovery book, but I'd basically told, I don't look at your face. Why would you do that? But I've told her that I made about $40,000 on this, so she would have to get a big advance for me to not self-publish it myself. So she knows that.
Yeah. Because you'll want to do a Kickstarter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that would be. I just really like the process of it, having it all done. Okay, tell me about yours.
So the total was 25,931 English pounds. I don't know what that was in US
Oh,
dollars.
shit ton. It's a lot more.
Um, it was 8% fees. So I ended up in my account with 23,856. The merch was over £1,600. The shipping was 3,900, and the books were 4,700, just
Hmm.
roughly. So it was just under 10,200 in costs, and then 13,700 in net. That doesn't count tax though. So tax would probably be, I don't know what tax would be. Tax is I don't know. I don't pay tax on like a individual thing. I pay tax on whatever the net profit is in the business. So I don't know how to calculate tax on an individual
I do
project,
that.
if that.
But I always, because I'm always running scared and putting money aside, I always put 35% aside for my taxes in the
Yeah,
United States
yeah.
and New Zealand since I have to pay both, and that about covers it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
So we're looking
I
at a
think
very similar amount of
yeah.
like percentage to be brought home, a little bit less than half
Yeah,
of
so
what you
I
make.
if we
Yeah.
say about 45%, which funnily enough is exactly the percentage on Shopify as well.
Wait, explain that to me.
So
After postage and books and
correct. After printing
yeah,
costs and postage, it's about
interesting.
45%. And obviously that will vary. If you have a lot of digital products on there, you'll have a higher percentage. So mine used to be definitely 45%, and it's just creeping up now. I've got a few things on there that are ebooks and audio and bits and bobs. So that will shift. But if you're majority paperback or hardback or whatever, it's about 45%.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really, really good
Isn't
to
it
know.
strange? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
It's
that
funny
is
how,
so
yeah.
cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. And
No, that's all right.
ah. All right. So it sounds like we have our work cut out for us for the
Yeah, I've
next
got a
little
lot to
bit.
do before we come to New Zealand. And my son's giving us a running countdown of how many days. And like every day I wake up and I'm like,
You're like, please don't tell me how many days it is. It is pretty
it's
soon. It's about, is it less than a month now that you're actually gonna arrive?
yeah, yeah, it really is. It's like 25 days or something, I think. 24, 25,
Oh.
25, I think. Must be 25. I don't know. 20 plus. Yeah, I don't know. 25 days till we leave, I think.
What are the odds too? Because like I had no pull in getting you to New Zealand. Our friend AK had no pull in getting you to New Zealand, but you're going to come to New Zealand and hang out with us. Like
I'm
you
so
could have been asked
excited.
anywhere in the world and you have been. Quickly, how did SPF go?
It was good. I was on stage on a panel for
Hmm.
Amazon,
Hmm.
and
For Amazon,
they are,
that's interesting.
yeah, Amazon asked me onto their panel. I was one of
Wow.
three, yeah, I was one of three Amazon girls. So yeah, it was good. And we did like a how did you get to full-time status kind of panel
Hmm.
Q&A sort of thing. And it was great. I got a few laughs. I'm always there to make people laugh, really, and hopefully give a few useful tips. And I'm a whore for the stage. I love it. I'm like, yeah, listen to me speak. Um, no, I do. I love it. So it was fun. I think that I am getting less able to cope with all the peopling, though. I think actually I'm getting considerably less able to deal with it. I actually really struggled, and yeah, I struggled more at this one than I have at other ones. So I don't really know what that is about. But Vegas is next.
Jesus, duh, Vegas,
I know, I know, I know.
Are you good at or bad at building in the absolute recovery time every hour or two? Okay, that's a no. Uh,
So, okay, we'll talk about this offline.
okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have our conference coming up, which will be so small and so lovely. It is like no other conference than you've gotten to. I think when I was the keynote a couple of years, no, last time they had it, so 2 years ago. I want to say there were 200 or 300 people there total. That's the it's easy. It's easy. And even then
Yeah.
I was
Lovely.
overwhelmed. But I'm planning for the I call it being a bed guy. I do it at home too. When I have just talked to too many people and I have thought too many things, I announce to the house, which is, Lala and my sister, I am being a bed guy, which means I'm going in the bedroom and I'm putting in my big fat earplugs so I can't hear anything, and I'm reading and under the covers in the bed, even if it's 2 in the afternoon. I just have to not hear anything.
Yeah, so one of my tricks is to get rooms that have no windows because then I can sneak
Oh,
into the room in the hotel, and even if it's in the middle of the day, I can turn all the lights out, and it's like being in one of those water bed things,
yeah,
that complete like what's the
isolation, the
word?
flotation
Sensory
tank.
deprivation. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did it by accident the first year, and now I almost always ask for a room without windows because I can turn the lights off and I'm plummeted into darkness and quietness. And I can sit in there for like 15, 20 minutes and it's like I've had an hour and a half nap.
My brain just got blown. I want that. I want that now. Because you don't look out the windows anyway. Like no one looks
No,
out the windows. You don't sit unless
who
you're
looks
on
out
the
the window?
beach.
I will say it's a little bit suffocating the first time you go in.
I would think so.
It's
Yeah.
it's disorienting, especially if you go in during the day.
Yeah.
But I very rapidly appreciate it because that is kind of my form of healing. Like if I need to go
Yes.
back to the room
Perfect.
spontaneously in the day, it's like a shortcut. Look at activated competition trying to find a shortcut, but
Sure.
it is kind of a shortcut to rapid like regeneration.
That is
Yeah, so that's
so.
one of my best tips. And my loop earplugs are invaluable.
Yeah, I have loops, but they're not quite strong enough for me. I've got to use my nighttime like firefighter earplugs that just like I brought over a box of them when we moved here. All right. Oh wait, I gotta tell you the most important news. I forgot to tell you. I'm holding up. I'm holding up. I didn't even tell the podcast yet. You're the first to know. I'm holding up the Remarkable 2, which I
Is it
got
the
in the
best
brown
fucking thing ever?
folio, the type folio. It is, I've had it for maybe 4 days. It has already transformed everything I do. It is always open next to me to take notes. I was teaching the other day. All of my notes went in there. When I get up in the morning, I do 20 minutes of journaling on it. And then I do my 15, 20 minutes of my free writing, which is, like idea generation always. And I don't have to move. I just switch it to the type folio and I start typing. I'm not connected to anything. There are no messages. I am in my peaceful bubble. I've got my music playing. I'm on my couch with the dog and a cup of tea, and it is the most blissful 40 minutes. I go to bed at night, these last few nights, just so I can wake up and be with my Remarkable. It is worth every penny, and it is fucking expensive, man. But
It
it had a
is so
100-day
expensive.
guarantee. And I got some royalty money from Stolen Things, and it's my birthday next week. And I was like, this is what I'm getting. And it is so good, Sasha. Thank you for telling me about it. It's
You,
so good.
you are so welcome because I really truly believe that most writers need one. It is without doubt. I mean, I literally wrote, I would say 40% of the last book on it because it just,
Wow.
if not maybe more,
Yeah.
because it's complete focus.
Yes. If you leave your phone in another room and you're just there with it and you're comfy, you're not going anywhere. You are just going to write and you can't do anything else. You
No,
cannot do
no,
anything else. It is, and the typewriter keyboard, there's no
keeps up.
latency. It keeps up.
Nope.
It is,
Yep.
it is, it is worth every penny. And I felt
I don't.
so guilty about buying it, and I'm so happy that I did. It's just a business expense. It's as much
Yes,
of
it
like
is.
if my God forbid my Mac laptop broke today, I would drive immediately to the store and buy a new one. I wouldn't
Yeah.
think about it. I need it. And now I need this. I've never had a tool that I need like this. I never
I
have.
I know. I literally can't go anywhere without it because it is so. Do you know? I don't think I realized how fractured I was before I had the Remarkable.
Yes, yes, everywhere. Everything was everywhere. Because yesterday I was
Yeah.
still sitting at my desk and I grabbed for a couple of Post-its to take some notes. And then I was like, no, I'll put it into Google Keep. And then I thought, no, it's all in the Remarkable. Put it down. It's all there.
Exactly. Have you synced it up so you're saving documents? Is it all
Yep.
saved to the cloud and stuff?
Yep. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
paid for Connect. Do you pay for or
No,
like the first
no,
year free? I don't think I need to do that. Everybody
I
kind of
don't think.
online says you don't need to, but
No, I don't. I haven't paid for it. No, I don't think I need to either. But yeah, I mean, I I truly think it is a gift to writers, that device. Like, and I will probably always, not probably, I will definitely always have to have
and I
them
have tried
one
similar.
forever.
Like I have an
Hmm.
iPad mini. I've tried those kind of things
Yep.
and they have never stuck like this.
But you know why? It's because it stops the squirrel brain, because it
Yeah,
is one thing. It does one thing extremely well, and there is no internet other than to send your documents.
right.
There's no apps like the iPad, because I've done exactly the same as you. I've tried iPads, I've tried this, I've tried that. I tried the Traveler Free Write, that
Yep, me
unfortunately
too.
it was too slow, it didn't work for me. And I just, yeah, I cannot praise it more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We should get a sponsorship deal for this show for
I'm so glad you did it.
and it came so fast. I
I
ordered it. It
know.
was there like 3 or 4 days later, which in New Zealand is unheard of. We are used to getting things in 3 or 4 weeks, and I just kept watching it travel to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. It honestly, it's so good. And for anybody listening, like you deserve it. You should have it.
It's and for anybody who missed it, you write on it. It's a tablet that you write on. It has OCR, so it'll convert your handwriting into really good text, or you can type on it, and it's brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah, so good.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Okay, then I will, are we gonna, where are we? I don't, we'll talk
We
about this
we're going to
offline.
see each other. Well, no. So what we should say
Oh,
to listeners is
we
the
should,
chances
yes.
are that our next one is going to be late
Yes.
because we will attempt to record it in person.
It will be live and it will be about a week late or so, maybe a little bit
Yes.
more, maybe 10 days late. And
So
you'll
for
all be fine. Yeah.
so for podcast listeners, they probably won't notice a difference, but for
True.
patrons
Patron.
will see a difference.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Maybe we'll do a little bit of extra something like a hello just to
Yeah.
them or something on
Yeah. Yeah,
video.
that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my friend. Happy writing,
Alrighty.
and I'll see
Okay.
you in person real soon. I mean, not real
Okay.
soon.
Bye
You've got plenty of
bye.
time. Bye. Wait, I can't press the button.